My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon for my sins, and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. A priest told me the story once that on a winter's day he was walking through the streets of his town. It was early in the morning, and he was wrapped in his coat and scarf, when a man came from behind and, producing a knife, asked him for his wallet. The good priest's wallet was emptier than Homer Simpson's brain, so he didn't have any problem opening his coat to take it out. But as he unfastened his coat, the Maga saw the priest's collar, and he asked, "Excuse me, are you a priest?" "No," said the priest, "I'm a fireman." Just kidding. "Yes, of course, I'm a Catholic priest." And the guy said, "I'm sorry, Father, I didn't know. Sorry. No, you can keep your wallet." So the priest thought the man could do with a little bit of affection, and said to him, "Listen, I have no money on me, but if you want, I can give you a cigarette, and we will have a smoke. What do you say?" But the robber left the priest bewildered when he replied, "Thank you very much, Father, but I don't smoke during Lent." So here you had a guy who didn't smoke during Lent, but had no problem robbing. Not very consistent. And I remembered this story when I heard your words, Jesus, in the Gospel of the Mass today. Fear no one. Nothing is concealed that will not be revealed, nor secret that will not be known. What I say to you in the darkness, speak in the light. What you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And then you, Lord, speak about the testimony of your disciples in public life. Everyone who acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before my Heavenly Father. Now, sometimes I think some people can have the impression that this Christian testimony that we have to give is more of a speech, a piece of writing, or a radical protest, like activists shouting slogans. But this is not what we have learned from you, Jesus, from the apostles, or from the lives of the saints. The testimony of the saints was their holy lives, their behavior. Remember those words of Saint Josemaria, "How I wish your bearing and conversation were such that on seeing or hearing you, people would say, 'Here is someone who reads the life of Jesus Christ.'" This is what holiness is about. And this is how we bring souls to you, Jesus, with our bearing and conversation. That was also the opinion of St. Paul VI. You probably remember his popular quote, "Modern man listens more willingly to witnesses than to teachers. And if he does listen to teachers, it is because they are witnesses." This is why I wanted to use for our prayer today, Lord, those words of yours. Nothing is concealed that will not be revealed, nor secret that will not be known. And to summarize it in a motto that you can remember from this meditation, saints are made when no one is watching. Our behavior, our bearing, has to be such that any time and anywhere we conduct ourselves according to our vocation. And that Christian consistency, that unity of life, as we also call it, is the testimony that the world needs today. There is a beautiful story of Cardinal Gaspar Mermillon, a Swiss cardinal who died in 1892. He was appointed Bishop of Lausanne and Geneva, and was very popular for his sermons. He was well known especially for his effective defense of your real presence, Lord, in the Eucharist. Well, it is told that many Protestants converted to Catholicism thanks to his preaching. And apparently one night, when he had finished his public preaching, he dismissed crowds and closed the gates of his church. And there, in the solitude and silence of his church, he prostrated himself in front of the tabernacle and started praying. He had been in deep prayer for almost an hour when he heard some noise coming from the back of the church. He stood up and went towards that corner of the church with a candle, and to his amazement, he bumped into a lady who was coming out of the confessional. A bit shocked, the bishop asked the lady, "Excuse me, madam, who are you, and what are you doing here?" And the lady, visibly embarrassed, explained, "My name is so-and-so," apparently a well-known lady from the aristocracy in Geneva. And she continued, "I have been listening to your sermons for a while now, and I was almost convinced to join the Catholic Church. But there was one final test I wanted to perform before. I just wanted to check for myself that in private you practice what you preach. Now I have seen you do it. So there is nothing else that can hinder my conversion anymore." So here was a man who practiced what he preached, also when nobody was watching, or so he thought. Cardinal Mermillon was one of those witnesses who behaves the same way when in public or when nobody sees him. Nobody except you, Lord. This is what we can ask you, Jesus, in this time of prayer. I want to be a consistent disciple of yours. I need to be one of those about whom people could say, what you see is what you get. A Christian through and through. The world is thirsty for precisely this. Real witnesses who are also teachers, in public and in private. Now, of course, we all have defects, and at times these are difficult to hide. And I'm not saying that we should be perfect. What I'm saying is that a good disciple of Jesus Christ should at least strive to be consistent. We can't be scandalized when we realize that other people have defects. We are potential saints, saints in the making. But for that very reason, we're not saints yet. It can help us realize that even though you don't do the right things because people are looking at you, you do the right things for God, but aware that people can see you as well. As it happened to me once, that I got in the car and was going to pull out. I hadn't even moved the car an inch, when suddenly I heard another car sounding the horn hysterically, and then I heard also the not very polite expressions from the driver whilst she stopped her car next to me and rolled down the window. And then I looked at her and oh man, I recognized her and she recognized me. She had been in one of the evenings of recollection I had preached a couple of days before. I smiled. She turned red. I said, "Sorry." She said, "Sorry, Father. It has been a long day." And then she rolled up the window again and zoomed off. I didn't have time to say that it had been a long day for me too. But I wondered, would she have said sorry if it had been another person and not me who was driving the other car? You see, if I am a good disciple of Jesus, I behave the same way if I am surrounded by people who know me or not, or if I am alone. For there is nothing hidden that will not be known. Mary, my Mother Immaculate, I ask you to help me be consistent, to have that unity of life that makes me behave always as a good disciple of your Son, a witness, even when nobody is watching. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.